morning. So kids are back at school, out on a run. Frosty, crispy, beautiful day. Nice. Damn, I spoke too soon. I just had a call from the school. I forgot to pack his sports kit and swimming stuff. Meanwhile, oh, look at these guys. Whew. But meanwhile, I wanted to chat about one thing, training, and the two types of training that I'm doing and why. Sports kit done. School. Okay, sports stuff dropped off. Let's continue. So, two types of training I want to talk about: strength and endurance, cardio and weights. Both are important, obviously we all know that, but there's just, they impact you differently, physiologically and obviously mentally too. In this little video here, I want to talk about how weight training affects me, both physically and mentally, and how endurance affects me, both physically and mentally, and how I like to mix the two together in some sort of hybrid, concurrent sort of training style. Okay, so what I mean is basically the two types of exercise, endurance and strength training, both have a huge physiological impact on your body for both your health, to reduce all sorts of diseases, to keep insulin in check, so diabetes, to keep your cardio, to keep your heart healthy, so the cardiovascular system, your lungs, respiratory system, keep your hormones in check, cortisol, growth hormone, testosterone. Exercise, as we all know, has a huge beneficial impact on your health from a physiological point of view, which I'm not really going to touch on right now because it's just been done millions of times. What I am interested in is how it affects the way you feel, the way you think, your brain, basically, the impact it has on your sort of psychological state of mind. And again, we all pretty much know that you feel better after going for a long run or training. But I kind of wanted to know the difference, if there was any, between exercise, how you feel from exercise doing, let's say, running, as opposed to strength training, whether that has a different impact on your mood, on your state of mind, and your overall sort of mental well-being. Cardio endurance has been studied for millions of hours in regards to how it makes you feel mentally. What they discovered, obviously, it elevates your mood, it decreases depression, anxiety, and this is all through a thing called BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is basically stuff in your brain that helps to create more neurons, to help create more connections, that increases memory, increases learning, and also therefore in turn increases serotonin and dopamine, all the good neurotransmitters in your brain all getting fired up by this BDNF. Now, that's been studied a lot from aerobic exercise, and I think a lot of people have realized that obviously that's where it comes, the sort of higher state of BDNF and sort of the mental sort of side of training comes from aerobic exercise. But I'm sure, and I'm pretty confident in regards to how strength training also does the same. But what I'm interested also about is how strength training makes you feel differently from aerobic exercise. So how BDNF, all those sort of neurotransmitters in your brain, how they're sort of secreted and how they're sort of worked is through oxygenated blood flow, just getting things moving. So that blood flow from the exercise, from the aerobic exercise, helps to increase all the feel-good stuff in your brain. Now, that's probably why aerobic exercise has been studied so much and been associated with those sort of feelings of well-being and happiness and decreased anxiety, etc. Whereas strength training might not have been, because there's not such amount of aerobic exercise with strength training. That said, obviously strength training does still increase blood flow. It does still increase, you get your heart pumping, you get the blood moving, and it does get those things pumping as well. But I have found that for me personally, with aerobic exercise, you definitely have a great sense of calm. So therefore it does help you reduce your anxiety or whatever, or worry, and you just feel your mood is much better, more stable, calmer. Now, I'm interested to see if anyone would agree with me on that one, but you might do. So if you also feel pretty much calmer, more stable after doing aerobic exercise, and then when the sort of the flip side, the strength training work, this is when you have a different sort of sense of emotions, where you have more, I guess maybe more confidence, maybe more drive, and that might be to do with the sort of excretion of testosterone from doing sort of squats and the heavy weights and stuff, and more of a sense of empowerment with, you know, being more sort of just stronger. So I think with strength training, you have a much more sense of confidence and drive, assertiveness, and I think the two work really well, and they both complement each other amazingly. So for me anyway, this is what I do. It's about, I suppose, 4 or 5, you know, sessions of strength training stuff a week. Nothing crazy, nothing too intense, nothing too long either, because if you obviously, and you know, I can't forget the rules of specificity. You know, if your goal is to be a marathon runner, then obviously you should specialize in training for the marathon and do that. If your goal is to be a strong man, you specialize in that. But for general overall sort of health and fitness for both body and mind, I think the two complement each other really, really well. And I think the two work together if you are a runner. You know, so as a runner, I love doing my ultra distance running. I definitely find that strength training helps to increase strength in the core, do your legs, your hamstrings, and work out any imbalances as well. So a lot of unilateral work too. But that's on the physiological side. On the psychological side, for me anyway, the strength training stuff seems to give me more just, confidence, drive, assertiveness, whereas the endurance stuff gives me more calm, just collectiveness, and feelings of just elevated mood. So again, they work really well together. Okay, that's the brief video done there. Let me know below what you think, whether you also have very similar sort of, I guess, mixed emotions from doing different variables of training, different types of training, whether one does make you feel calmer and one does make you feel a bit more assertive, confident. Right, thank you very much for watching. I have to now go back to school to get my children, and that's it from me. Right, see you soon, take care, bye. Ooh, I've got to put my bike back. Clean it too.